Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Jayflair Designs. If you are new here, consider subscribing, and thank you so much to all my old subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. In today's video, we're going to be drafting the PANT pattern, the basic PANT pattern foundation. With this pattern, you can create several variations of pants, like your cargo pant, your bootcut pant, your straight pant, your cigarette pant, your wide hem pants, and so on. So we'll be drafting the front and the back pattern. Okay, so let's start with the measurements that we'll be working with. For this pattern that I'm drafting, the very important measurements are the waist circumference measurement, the hip circumference measurement, the knee circumference measurement, the cuff entry. Now the cuff entry can be at the ankle, the floor, can be a midi, whatever you want. Then the waist to hip. Please take note that I'm drafting from my high waist. I'm drafting from high waist, not the low waist. I'm making a high waist pant foundation. So waist to hip, waist to knee, and waist to full length, wherever your full length is. Then I also want us to take note of the following vital information: the front crotch extension. To get the front crotch extension, you divide your hip circumference by 20. To get your front crotch extension, divide your hip circumference by 20. Now, to get your back front crotch extension, you divide your hip circumference by 10. By 10, hip circumference divided by 10, you will get your back crotch extension. Then for the crotch depth, you can use 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches, depending on the hip circumference. For someone that has hip, let's say 40, 42, 44, 43, 46, you can do 1.5. But for larger hip circumference like 48, you can do 2 inches. 50, you can do 2.5. That's for the crotch depth. So we'll be starting off with the front pattern. Okay, so I already drew this vertical and horizontal guideline. The reason is because I will be drafting my front and my pattern, front and back pattern together first before I separate them. So the first thing I'll be doing is to impute my vertical measurements. That's my length measurements, which is I have it here. My waist to hip, that's 11 inches. My waist to hip is 11 inches. Just connect this one to the hem line. So my waist to hip is 11. My waist to my knee is 20 inches. And I'll be using the full length of my paper. I'll just assume that I have 33.5. I'll just assume that's the full length of my pants. So I'll square out these lines. And this is my hem line, this one. So the next thing I'll do is to impute my crotch depth line. I'm using that. I'm taking 1.5 for my crotch depth. My hip is 42, so 1.5 should work perfectly. I'm just extending the lines. So these are all the lines that I have. My waistline, which is at the starting point, my hip line, my crotch depth line, which is 1.5 below my hip line, my knee line, and the full length of my pants. So the next thing I'll be doing is to mark 1/4 hip circumference measurement. That's hip circumference divided by 4. Now my hip is 42. 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. I'll mark that on the crotch line, 10.5, and I'll also mark it on my waistline, 10.5. Then I'll connect the 2 points. So this is now my center front line, So I'll be getting my crotch extension, and I said to get the front crotch extension, you divide the hip circumference by 20. So I've done that already. Hip divided by 20 is 2.1, and the tape is like 218, 1/8. 1/8 is in fraction. So I have the point here. So the next thing I'll do is to divide this point to this point into 2 to form my center front, to form my front grain line, or to form my grain line or balance line, whatever you call it. I'll also do the same thing on the waistline. I'll mark the same measurement on the waistline. So my balance line is from the waist all the way to the hem of my pants. So I'll just extend it down to the hem line. So this is my balance line or my grain line. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to divide my waist circumference by 2. I'll divide my waist circumference by 4, sorry. My waist circumference measurement, okay, I don't have it here. My waist circumference is, I have 32. 32 divided by 4 is equal to 8 inches. So I'll mark 8 inches from, this is my center front now. My center front line, I'll be marking out my waist circumference divided by 4, and that's 8 inches. I will not be adding a dart to my front pants. If you decide to add a dart to yours, fine, but I won't be adding a dart to my front pattern. So I'll go up by ½ inch. This is what I have here. Then on this center front line, you can decide to, it's optional, you can decide to come down by ½ inch. If I'm going to add a dart to my pant, if I'm going to add a band, I wouldn't do this, but if I'm making a dartless pant, I'll just do this. I'll go down by ½ inch on the center front, then connect with a slight curve to form the front waistline. So the next thing I'll do is to connect this point here to my hip and my crotch. I'll use this part of my pattern master, ensure that there is no sharp edges. So I've done that. Then I'll mark my hip circumference measurement divided by 4. Okay, I already have it here. I'll add 1/4, 1/4 is at the hip line, 1/4 for ease, so that the pants will not be too tight on me. So I added 1/4 on the hip line. Please take note. The next thing I'll do is to connect this point here, my crotch extension, touching this line, touching this point to my center front to form my front crotch line. My front crotch line. Get the best curve you can get. Okay, have it. Alright, so this is my front crotch line right now. So I'm done with this part. Let's go to the knee line. So my knee line, my knee circumference is 20. I'll just divide by 2. But take note about how I'm going to mark it. That's 20 divided by 2 is 10. So I'll divide 10 by 2, which is 5. From this my grain line, I'll mark 5 to the left, 5 to the back. So I have 5 here and 5 here. So this is now my knee circumference for the front pattern. The front pattern has 10. The back will also have 10. And then my crotch, my cuff entry, which is the M line of my pant. My cuff entry is 14 inches. I also divide 14 by 2, which is 7 for the front and 7 for the back. Then I'll divide 7 by 2 also, which is 3.5. So I'll mark 3.5 here and 3.5 here. So I have all the important points that I need to complete my pattern. So the last thing I'll be doing is to connect all these points. Just watch the way I'll do it. I'll connect this one, this point on my knee. I'll connect it to my crotch line here, like this, with a straight line. If there is any sharp points, just blend it with a curve. Ensure that there is no sharp points. No part of our body is sharp. Then I'm making a straight pant. Oh no, I'm making a cigarette pant because the cuff entry is smaller than the knee. So it's a cigarette pant. But if you're making a straight pant, all that you need to do is whatever you have on the knee line, which is 10, you also mark that 10 on your M line. But what I'm making is a cigarette pant. So I'll just connect like this. Connect from the M line to my knee line. I'll do the same thing here with a straight line to form my inseam, and this is my outseam. Then for this part, the knee to the crotch, I'm not going to use a straight line. I'll use a slight curve. So I'll use this part of my ruler, a slight curve, not too deep, just a slight curve to join them. Yeah. So with this, I'm done with my front pattern. Yeah, I'm super excited. So this is what it looks like. This is my front pant pattern foundation. So let's go straight to the back pattern. Okay, I'll just change my marker so that there's no confusion whatsoever. Okay, so I'll be using the red for the back. Please take note, I'll be using the red marker for the back. Now, the back pattern is a bit bigger than the front. The waist of the back is slanted, is higher than the front, and is slanted in order to give you enough coverage around your butt area, so when you sit down, nothing will be showing. And the crotch extension for the back is deeper than the front, So these are some of the differences between the back and the front pattern. So the first thing I'll do is to divide this line into two. This distance, the center front and the balance line, I'll divide it into two. Whatever I have here, I have 418. I'll divide into two, then square up a line which is 2 inches. I'll go up by 2 inches. Now you can do 2.5, you can even do 1.5, but this is all dependent on the hip of your client. If the hip circumference is anything less than 40, you can do 1.5, but anything more than 40, 2 inches is good. Let's say from 48 you can do 2.5 and so on. Now this point is now where I'll be imputing my waist circumference. So the next thing I will do is to work on the crotch line. At this point, this is my center front line. I'll come back by 3/4. You can do that's 3/4 to 1 inch. Remember, depending on the hip circumference. The hip circumference is very big, you should do 1 inch, but I did 3/4 from this center front line. Then I'll connect to this point on the waistline to form my center back line, actually CB. This is center back line. So the next thing I will do is to impute my back crotch extension. Remember I told you from the beginning that to get the back crotch extension, it is hip divided by 10, and my hip circumference is 42. 42 divided by 10 is 4.2. Okay, 4.2. I would use that's like 3/16, 16th division. So I have 4.2 here. 4.2. So in order to connect my back crotch curve, I will step down by 1/2 inch. Now the back crotch is usually deeper than the front, and the reason is because of the butt, to accommodate the butt. So I'll come down by 1/2 inch, square line, square line, then connect. Now this is the point, this line is my center back line, this is my hip line. So this point of intersection, I'll try to connect this point here to this point of intersection. But even if I'm unable to get to this point or get this exact point, no problem, as long as I have a curve, a nice curve. Okay, it's not even getting there. I'm not getting here, and I'm not getting to this point of intersection. So I'll just connect my curve whichever way. This is a nice curve, crotch curve. So don't worry yourself if you're unable to get to this point or to this. Usually, I don't think I've ever gotten to this point safe. So just from wherever on this line, just connect. This is my back crotch curve. So we're making progress. We're making progress. Let's work on the knee line, on the hip line rather. Now the waistline, pardon me. Okay, so I'll just extend this line out a little to create more room for my back waistline. Then watch what I'm going to do now. Remember, my waist circumference is 32, divided by 4 is 8 inches. I'll be using a dart at the back, and I'll be using a dart of 1 inch. So 8 plus 1 is 9 inches. So from this point here, I will I will place 9 inches here at this point, touching the waistline, touching this waistline, then mark my 9 inches here. Then I'll square a line upwards, a line of 1/4. At the front it was half, at the back it will be 1/4. So I'll just connect these 2 points, these 2 important points right now, this and this. I'll connect them to form my back waist line, and it is on this line that I will impute my darts. So let's do that before we proceed. This is my back waist line. To impute my dart, I will just divide this line, which is 9 inches. I'll divide it into 2, 4.5. Then square a line down. Now this line is going to be parallel to this, my center front line, like this, parallel lines. It's going to be like this. See, is this parallel? Yeah. Okay. So just watch how I placed my ruler. I align my ruler to this line. So I have my line for my dart. So on either sides of the line, I will just mark ½ inch. My dart is 1 inch. So I'll mark ½ inch. So the length of my dart is 5 inches. 5 is not bad. You can do more than 5 if you want, but minimum, I think minimum should be 5. So this is my back dart, back dart, back dart. So let's work on I'm making a lot of progress. I'll just extend my crotch line and my hip line. So from these points on my hip line, this is my center back. From this point now, from this point, I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4, which is 10.5. I'll mark it this way. I'm coming backwards, so I have my 10.5 here. So the next thing I'll be doing is to connect with a slight curve. I'll connect this point on my waistline. I'll connect it to my hip. Okay, I'll just draw a straight line from my hip down to my crotch line, so that there won't be any sharp points. So I'll just connect like this. It's looking awkward though. Okay, let me just blend a little blending. Okay, this looks better. So I'll come to my knee line. I'll come out by ½ inch on either sides of my knee line and my hem line. The back pattern of my pants is usually bigger than the front. So the last thing I'll be doing is to connect all the points together. I'm using straight line here. Then I also connect to the hem line to form my side seam, back side seam actually. Then I also connect this one to form my, remember we used this part for the front, we'll do the same thing on the back. Okay, so I have my back pattern completed. So I have my front and my back. The red is for the back and the blue is for the front. Now the next thing I will do is to decide whichever one I want to trace out. Let me see. Okay, I'll trace out the front. I'll trace out the front using my tracing wheel, and I'll show you what it looks like. So I have gone ahead to cut out the front and the back pattern. This is the back, this is the front rather. This is what the front looks like, and this is the back. The back, you can see the back waist is slanted and the back is bigger than the front. Now the last thing I will do is to true my lines, my inseam and my outseam. Now the reason why I'll do this is so that the front inseam and outseam or side seam, they both match when I'm sewing. So how do I do that? I'll just start from the hem line. From the hem line, place the front on the back or the back on the front, whichever one. Then I'll measure. Okay, I can see that they are not equal at this point here. This is where my back ended. I'll just mark that point. Then redraw my crotch curve to meet that point. So I'll just redraw. And cut out the excess. Ensure you do this here. Ensure you through the lines. If not, when you are sewing, you just notice that one is longer than the other. I'll do the same thing for the side, that's the outseam. From the hem line, remember, I'll just arrange it like this, go on to the waist. If you can see me clearly. Follow the curve of the hip. Okay, there is a little excess here too on the front, so I'll just redraw the front waistline and then cut off the excess. So right now my front and my back are equal on the inseam and the outseam. So I want you to try out this pattern. Very easy to make, and this pattern works perfectly well. But ensure that before you make your pant, you do a test fit. Now the test fit is very important. It will help you to see how the pant fits on you. You can do the test fit to the knee length. It does not need to be all the way to the hem line. You can stop at the knee length. So from the test fit, you will be able to determine if there is any area that is a little bit too free or too tight, or any issue with the pattern before you go ahead to make your pants. Okay, so we have finally come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section. I'll be there to answer all your questions. And this pant tutorial was actually demanded by someone. Someone asked me to make it, and they are waiting patiently for this tutorial to drop. So try as much as possible to draft yours and to make a pant, and send me the pictures so that I can see your work, and if there's any correction, I can do the correction also. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. That will really help me grow. I would appreciate that.